Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Sunday, March 6, 2016, around 6:45 in the evening in Belleville, Massachusetts. Sun went down, and it's going to be a chilly night, but tomorrow is going to be a little bit warmer, and heading to the 60s and 70s this week for high temperatures. Taste of spring, still winter, so a snowstorm could pop up at any time. We're still under the gun for major snowstorms because March is known for major snowstorms. It might go out as a lion. Wait and see. Some news to report. Boston Red Sox beat the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 8-7 in preseason baseball. These games don't count. And a big upset in the NBA today. The LA Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors, and this is the first time in NBA history that a team with an under 200 winning percentage beat a team with a over 900 winning percentage with a minimum of 50 games. You don't see that too much often. And a very interesting stat, 85% of single men who really want to date a woman they assume that she's taken. But do not assume that any lady is taken, because if you assume that, your chances of dating that lady is not going to happen, because if she's taken, why bother? And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about one of the biggest professional wrestlers of all time. I'm talking about Ernie the Cat Ladd. Ernie the Cat Ladd had an over 20-year career in the world of sports entertainment. He was the first African-American wrestler to be a major heel in wrestling territories in the 70s and 80s. Before Ernie became a professional wrestler, he had a great football career. Ernie was born and he grew up in Louisiana. In high school, he was a star football player and a star basketball player. He got a scholarship to play basketball at Grambling University, but he decided to play football instead for a defensive tackle. 4 years for Grambling State football with the famous coach Eddie Robinson, and he was so good he made some like all-star teams in college. Then he got drafted by the San Diego Chargers of the AFL and the Chicago Bears of the NFL. Ernie decided to play for the AFL, and he played 8 seasons in the AFL. He was one of the tallest football players of his era. He was legitimately 6'9", and he made some AFL All-Star teams, and then he was, an awesome player. He played for the Chargers, the Oilers, and the Chiefs, retiring in 1968. During the off-seasons, Ernie was a professional wrestler. He was trained to be a professional wrestler by Bobo Brazil. And Ernie at first was a face, and he was a pretty good face. And when he retired from the football in 1968, his knees were like sore for playing football. He decided to make wrestling his full-time gig, and it was more lucrative for him to become a professional wrestler full-time than he playing football, because back then they didn't make large amounts of money. If you were real good, you might have made $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 on average. And Ernie, at first was a baby face, but in the early 1970s, Ernie became a heel, and he was the first African-American ever to be a major heel in wrestling territories. He had a very good talk. He was a great talker. He had a controversial take fist, which he loaded it with his thumb. His famous move was the leg drop, and also he used the knee drop from the top rope. And he feuded with many wrestlers, including Andre the Giant and Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Big John Studd, you name it. Ernie feuded with him all, and he went to territory to territory to territory, winning many regional titles. He feuded with Dusty Rhodes in Florida. In some territories, he was the king, Ernie Ladd, and he wore a crown, but he wasn't the king when he went to Memphis, because that was Jerry the King Lawler's territory. He even wrestled for some outlaw promotions, including the IWA, feuding with Mil Mascaras. And Ernie's big run was in the late 1970s with the WWF. He was managed by the Grand Wizard of Wrestling. He had legendary feuds with Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Dominic DeNucci, Bob Backlund, Andre the Giant. He was one of the few wrestlers to get shots at as Pedro Morales, Bruno Sammartino, and Bob Backlund as champion, but he was unable to wrest the title from either of them. In the early 1980s, Ernie wrestled for Mid-South Wrestling as both a heel and a face. He actually managed Alpha and Zika, the Wild Samoans, and backstage, Ernie was a booker to help out Bill Watts, and Ernie created the Junkyard Dog to be a superstar. Also, he turned Ted DiBiase from a face to a heel, and then he continued to wrestle from time to time. He spent some time in Georgia and in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling in 1984, feuding with Rufus R. Jones, with Gary Hart as a manager. He went back to Mid-South to have a run at the North American Championship, beating Magnum TA, but Magnum TA regained it. He retired from the world of professional wrestling in 1985 due to his knees bothering him. He had arthritis in his knees. He couldn't do it anymore. There was rumors he was going to come back for one major run in the WWE in 1985 to feud with Big John Studd, replacing like Andre the Giant, because Andre the Giant was getting deteriorating and stuff, but that never came to be. Ernie Ladd worked for the WWE for a while in 1986 as like a talent coordinator, and also as a commentator for WrestleMania 2 and also some shows, but he didn't stay too long in WWE backstage. He then retired, and then he appeared like in wrestling conventions and opened up a restaurant in Louisiana, which was Ernie the Big Cat Ladd's Barbecue. It was open for many, many years until it was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Ernie Ladd was inducted to the WCW Hall of Fame in 1994 and the WWE Hall of Fame in 1995. Ernie coached youth basketball in the 80s and 90s after he retired from the world of sports entertainment. He has also campaigned with George W. Bush for 2000 presidential campaign, and Ernie continued to appear as a goodwill ambassador for the WWE at WrestleMania Access events. In 2003, Ernie Ladd was diagnosed with cancer, and he had a few months to live. That's what the doctor's prognosis was, but Ernie lived another 3.5 years. He inducted the late Junkyard Dog into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004, and he appeared in a couple of other things with the WWE until he just got too sick. And in March of 2007, Ernie Ladd passed away at the age of 68. Ernie Ladd's like a trailblazer in the world of professional wrestling, being the first African American wrestler to be a heel in the 70s, and that was a very risky move by many promoters because there was still a lot of racial tension, especially in the South, and many people, really didn't want to see it like an African American be a heel, especially in that area, but Ernie pulled it off. Ernie was a very, very big man in the professional wrestling. He just didn't have a run with a major title in a major promotion. He was like kind of like a little bit of an attraction like Andre the Giant was, and he was also great with the booking side of the things, making Junkyard Dog a star and also making Ted DiBiase a big heel. Gotta give credit for that. And that's about it on Ernie the Cat Lad. And that's about it on these video blogs, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Tomorrow, you're going to get 3 more video blogs. First video blog will be about the top 67 players in NHL history, the top 10 from number 10 to 1. I'm not going to spoil who's going to be number 1 or 2, but people know, it's a good idea who's going to be number 1 and 2. I can't spoil it. And second video blog will be about MBTA, bus route 131, that goes from Malden Square to Melrose Highlands. And the third and final video blog of the night will be the personality profile, ending the big men of professional wrestling personality profiles for this time, Haystacks Calhoun. And lots of great video blogs coming in days, months, weeks, and years ahead. And coming soon is the 2016 Major League Baseball preview video blog. My predictions on 2016 for Major League Baseball is coming up soon. And March 22nd is the second Ask Rich video blog bulletin. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a usually blooding guy. Molly was blood of WCC All Hawks and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart so stunning. She's got nice legs as well. Amy's Wednesday of Wish 2 Rocks, and she's got nice legs as well. Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has a sweet southern accent. And in the words of Dr. Thomas Sharkey, this action will not be tolerated. Good night. See you tomorrow.